כן. כן. אבל צריך לעשות את זה, לבוא לזה. Okay, Siyata Dishmaya. So we go back to Rav Shimon Shkop. He makes a chilik between two types. First of all, he says there's a chilik between kesef and chalipin and essence. Kesef is an emtsoi. Sorry, chalipin is an emtsoi for the mekach, for the merchandise. By me, opposite. Kesef is an emtsoi to get the merchandise, but the kesef is not the value what the buyer and the seller want. So the seller agrees to let go of the merchandise with kesef. So when the moicher makes an agbor yad, king and yad or agbor, and the kesef, imele is moicher the schoira right away. So it's mechayelin. So the kesef, when he does an agbor, it's the object. Now, it's in the middle stage. When he picks up the kesef, that creates a chiyuv, and the chiyuv makes the sell. But by Chalipin, when I give the Chalipin, chayfetz b'chayfetz, object with object, so everyone is makpid. And the chayfetz they want to transfer. And the seller doesn't want any other money, any other shrekes, only this shrekes of this chayfetz. So want to trade chayfetz b'chayfetz. So we know what is the schoir, what is the money, the value. To every person, what he gets is the schoir, and what he's being paid with is schoir. And that's Chalipin. There's no chiyuv in between. When you pull the Chalipin, is right away is mechayev the other chayfetz to be the other one. But by kesef, there's a chiyuv. When you pull the kesef, according to Rabbi Yochanan, so then the kesef makes a chiyuv, and then that the chiyuv makes the mechira, the selling of the object. According to Reish Lakish, first you have to do Mashiach. You have to moishech the schoira, the merchandise, and then the kesef is just a payment. And even if he wants opposite first, the money, it doesn't change. What's the schoira, what's the money? Okay. Rabbeinu Tam said there's two types of Chalipin. Rabbeinu Tam and Tozman Betzidef Menvov says there's two types of Chalipin. So we're going to start there. Rabbeinu Tam. It's in page Reish Chav Gimel, in the end of the first paragraph, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 lines on the end of the first paragraph. On the right side. Rabbeinu Tam. Behold the Rabbeinu Tam. His words is being brought from Toises and Bometzia, page 46a. So he says like this: Chalipin kazeh, when I trade object with an object, that's called selling. That's mechira. It's called tumura. I said the Gemara says tumura zo mechira. When I exchange one object with the other object, that's called tumura. It's not chalipin sudo. It's different than chalipin of sudo. The mitmuro yalfin chalipin kazeh that you trade one object with the other. Umelekayim kol dovo from the verse. Lekayim kol dovo ude yalfin, that we learn kinyan sudo. What is kinyan sudo? Sheino makpid al shovyo shel sudo. The seller is not makpid on the value of the sudo. And the pulling of the sudo, the pulling of the sudo is only to establish the acquisition of the object that is being sold and acquired. So the sudo is a ma'asekinyan, to that she cannot retract. But when I trade object with an object, that's called mechira, that's selling. It's a chalipin, but it's a different type of chalipin. It's a chalipin of a sale. An object against an object. That chalipin could be money. Can I transit the money? But chalipe sudo is definitely not money. Here, behold, looks like the lashitas toisa shekostu, the opinion of Toisa wrote, the isha in a nikas chayk bekesef. Rabbeinu Tam that says a woman is only acquired with kesef and not chalipin, because chalipin is another kinyan. Only bekesef. Lo me'ani shum chalipin beisha. Doesn't help any chalipin by a woman. Even which chalipin? All chalipin. Even chalipin, there's not like kaim kol dovo that I just pull it and I don't care how much the sudo is worth. I'm just doing it not to retract. Not only that type of chalipin doesn't work. Even chalipin where the woman just soymech das on the chalipin. The mind is on the chalipin. She wants to know how much it's worth, how much it's being acquired with. She's trading a sell with the value of this chayfetz b'chayfetz of this chalipin, of this sudo. And he says, "Ubechai gavna such a chalipin lichoyro kosher." Apparently, it's hard. Achiluk ben dom lechalipin. In such a case, when I trade object with an object, and she wants the value, she wants to give her body in exchange for the object, and she wants to know how much the object is valued. You makpid on this object. There's no chili between money and chalipin. The gami misha makped is davka lachefetz. Even when when the woman is makpid, is careful specifically on this object, on this chalipin. She doesn't want any other values. Gam ken me'ani im kiru. It also will help if they had the intention that will work as money. If she wants the chalipin as she wants this chalipin because it's worth for her, and she's asking how much it's worth, and she wants this chalipin, so that chalipin is kesef, shvek kesef. She says, I want this shvek kesef, and I'm willing to miscarriage as a shvek kesef. But when I say the word chalipin, somehow, in the same case, doesn't work. When I say the word chalipin, what's the difference between kesef and that? It's just a name. I call it chalipin, but both is chalipin. I mean, both is money. What? Both is kesef. Because I'm marked on the object. If it's just the kaim called dovo, so money is kesef achoizer, and chalipin is an act that obligates me not to retract to sell. But it's chalipin of suda l'kaim dovo is directly. When I pick up the chalipin, I'm mischayev the object, and money is more money is by me. I need to give it back, or obligates me to do the kinyan. So it's different. But chalipin shove b'shove, chayfetz b'chayfetz. What's the difference between kesef and that? Is I want this chalipin means I want this shvek kesef. Now shvek kesef. Now I'm obligating myself back. So what's the difference between this and this? So he wants to make a chil. He wants to say that middle stage, that's the difference. Chalipin is different than money. Even chalipin shove b'shove, This is a chiluk. Reference to the law of an obligation. The bekesef, when I receive money, once the seller receives the money, miyad, right away, right away he's obligated to pay, to give back the exchange of the money, or the money back, or the exchange of the money. This is the main law of kesef. What the kesef cause an obligation, also through receiving the money, to be obligated the exchange of the money, the payment of the money, to give back the payment of the money. But by Chalipin, that's why you have to give the money first. But by Chalipin is different. You don't need to, when even Chalipin Shove, I don't need to create a chiyuv that I need to give back the value of the Chalipin that I get or Tumura. Rather, the Maisa Meshicha of this value, makna the other object in the same moment. Chayfetz b'chayfetz. There's no middle stage. That's the big answer of Rav Shimon Shkop. Again, Shiloh was, there's two types of Chalipi. There's Chalipi Sudor, and so that's definitely not Kesef. Okay? Kesef is, I get Kesef, and that obligates me to give the merchandise. So the Kesef is just an emtsoi for the merchandise. But Chalipi Sudor is just a Maisa Kinyan that obligates me to other object. But Chalipin, object against an object, Nichol is like Kesef. The only chilik is in an internal structure. And by Kesef, it creates a chiyuv, then the chiyuv, the tumura, chiyuv and the tumura, and the giving back of a value of it, something back. And that makes you to sell the merchandise. And by Chalipin Shove, when I pull the Chalipin Shove, that Maisa Meshicha, that Eitzem Kinyan produces the Kinyan on another object. And there's no Chiyuv in between. Now he's going to prove there's a Chiyuv in between. That's very important. We're going to see the proof today. We already said this to prove this. So let's open the Gemara Bekame Daf Ayin Amud Beis. Bekame Ayin Amud Beis. This is a famous raya of Rav Shimon Shkop. You must know this raya. What is the raya of Rav Shimon Shkop? Daf Ayin Amud Beis. So the Gemara Bekame Ayin Amud Beis speaks about somebody steals on Shabbos, steals and he sells on Shabbos, he's exempt from paying 4 and 5. Because since when he steals on Shabbos, he's obligated death. So he cannot pay 4 and 5. The Mishnah says, you exempt. If somebody stole, it says, I'm reading Ayin Amud Aleph, the Mishnah. Somebody stole upon 2 people. And upon them he slaughtered or he sold the same witnesses, or other 2 witnesses. He pays 4 and 5. He stole, it's double. And he sold or he slaughtered is 4 and 5. 4 if it's a sheep, 5 if it's a ox or cow. If somebody stole and sold on Shabbos, so if somebody stole and he sold, selling on Shabbos only the Rabbonim. It's not Chiyuv Misa. But if somebody stole and he slaughtered on Shabbos, it's Kim L'Chavminei. So the same moment that he slaughters, he's obligated death for Shabbos, and he's obligated 4 and 5. So then he's exempt from 4 and 5 because the Chiyuv Shabbos, Chiyuv Misa of Shabbos, exempt him from paying the 4 and 5. That's what's Gonav Umocha, only if he sold. There's only the Rabbanon b'Shabbos, Gonav Umocha with the Zorah. Right? Gonav V'Tov Yom Kippurim. Yom Kippur is no Chiyuv Misa. It's only Kores. So there's no Kinei Rav. This Mishnah holds, not like Chizkiah, this Mishnah holds that Kinei Rav doesn't exist by Kores. Only by Chiyuv Misa of Beis Din. Yes. Gona Mishalovi V'Tovach Umocha Rakach Meisoviv. So he's told from your father. And Yitovach Umocha Achach Meisoviv, which means that if his father died and afterwards he slaughtered it, he's exempt because he inherited his father and he sold his own. He slaughtered his own. But when he sold it, he in this case, Gona Mishalovi V'Tovach Umocha, and after his father did, so now he needs to pay 4 and 5. Okay, that's the Mishnah. So let's go back to Mud Beis. So what do we have in the Mishnah? We have in the Mishnah a case. Every time you want to print to people, they want to comment. What? Very good. He gave everyone a Gemara. Very good. So the Mishnah says, if somebody stole and sold on Shabbos, so selling on Shabbos is only Isur de Rabbanon. So then he needs to pay 4 and 5. Voltanya Potu, the Gemara says, what do you mean? It says in the Braisa, if somebody stole and he sold it on Shabbos, it's exempt from 4 and 5. Why? Omar Roy Bar Chomo, Kitanya Hi, that Braisa that says the Potu. It's a specific case where the selling was also Kinei Rav, was a issue of death. Where? Be'oimer, when the seller tells the buyer, take off a fig from my fig tree. So when you now going to cut the fig out of my fig tree, which means I want to buy what you stole. So I want to buy it. So now the guy stole and he sells on Shabbos, right? Now how do I pay the Ganav for his selling? I tell him, do Chilul Shabbos, cut a fig from my tree, and that will be a payment for what you stole, that I will buy what you stole. Again, somebody stole a chair, and the buyer wants to buy the chair from the Ganav on Shabbos. And he tells the Ganav, I want to pay you. How will I pay you? When you're going to cut a fig from my fig tree on Shabbos, you're going to take that fig tree, that fig will be a payment for what you stole. So then he stole and he sold what he stole to me. So how he sold it? By cutting a fig from a fig tree as a payment for the selling. So then he's chayev. By the selling, he's doing a maisa of cutting a fig tree from a fig tree on Shabbos. So it's a maisa skila, the yichayev skila on it. So the Kinei Rav, then he's exempt from the payment 4 and 5. That's the Gemara's answer of Romi Bar Chama. The Gemara says, wait a second. It's not a good answer. Why? The cave on the chitova leikamon bedina, since when he demands a chair, a front in the law and in court, we don't tell him zil shlim, go and pay. The mechay benafshu, because he's obligated with his soul. This mechir is not even selling. Rashi. If the owner of the fig tree will demand the collector of the figs that collected his payment, bedina in court, and he tells him, "Lo yimar achzer li teini, give me back my figs, shelikatata that you collected, or ten li mashamachat al bidmen." You have a choice. When you cut those figs, or give me back my figs, or give me what you want to sell me for their exchange of that value. So here we see there's a middle stage. That's the guy of Shimon. Again, the Gemara asks, if the owner of the fig tree tells the seller that you collected your payment from the fig tree, if I demand you now in court and I say, hey, you got a payment, so make a decision, or give me back the payment, or give me the exchange of the value of the payment, which is the object. Lo Amrina, we don't tell the Ganav, which is the seller, Zil Shlim, go and pay or give back the what you collected. Why? Because he's obligated death. So since he's obligated death, he doesn't need to pay. So you see, so by him pulling the cane, listen carefully, by him pulling the fig tree, he did not create the middle stage of chiyuv. Because when you collect the fig tree, you did a death penalty. A death penalty, you exempt from any obligation. So since he didn't create the obligation to give back or the value of the figs, so it comes out there was never chiyuv. If it's never chiyuv, it never makes the result of the selling. So I has to pay fine 4 and 5. The mechira never started. It was a mechira and also death. So then the death exempt the mechira. If there's no mechira at all, the mechira didn't start. Because how mechira works, there's a middle stage. When he cuts the fig tree, the mechira doesn't work right away. The cutting of the fig tree creates a choiv, and then you have a choice: or give back the fig tree and that way pay the debt, or in exchange of the debt, give me the object. But if I demand in court, there's no choiv because the obligation of death was on the moment of cutting, and the mechir is just on the result of the chiyuv that makes the mechir. So the mechir never started. Because there's 2 stages. If it's one stage, so then, at the time of the mechira, there's a death penalty. But if there's 2 stages here, first you cut the fig tree. That creates a chiyuv, and the chiyuv makes the mechira. So right away in the source, on the first stage, when you cut the fig tree, you mechal Shabbos, and doesn't create a chiyuv, because chiyuv Shabbos doesn't create a chiyuv. So if it never created a chiyuv, the mechira never was a mechira. The mechira never started, right? The debt, that debt who created the mechira never started. So there's no mechira to be paid 4 and 5 b'chlam. So the problem is, the law is true, but not because they exempts you the 4 and 5. No. Kiner Rabbi made that the mechira never started. There was no mechira here. So he made it not obligated 4 and 5. Now that you're obligated and the death exempts, that's the Gemara's kasha. The Gemara's kasha became in chitov alei kamon bedin. It seems when he demanded by in court. Lo amrina, we don't tell him zil shlim, go and pay in exchange of the collecting of the figs. Why? The mischai benafshu is obligated death. There's no chiyuv. So therefore, the mechir never started. So what do we see from this Gemara, Rabbi Yoshua? Rabbi Yoshua. What do we see from this Gemara? That there's 2 stages. What? Very clear, right? What? Yes. When you cut the figs, that will be a payment for your chair, what you stole. So if it's a direct payment, so in the time of the mechir, it is chayim misa. So Gemara doesn't have a problem. So Kiner Raman exempts it. But the Gemara has a different problem. Kiner Raman is not really exempting the mechira. Because just Kiner Raman does the mechira never started. Stole the chair on Shabbos? No. See, it was stolen on Friday. Now he wants to sell the chair on Shabbos. So he says, how he gets paid? Yes. How he gets paid? come my tree, which belongs to me, I'm the buyer. I have a fig tree. This is your payment. Good. So by the figs will be a payment for your chair. So Kim Rabba Mine does what? Kim Rabba Mine destroys the Mechira, or Kim Rabba makes that the Mechira never started? Mechira never started. Mechira Mechiri. So you made the Kim Rabba Mine is not destroying the Mechira, doesn't exempt you from the Mechira, just it makes the Mechira they never sold. And the Gemara understood that the tour of the Braise is the Kim Rabba Mine. It says, Kitan Kibbutz Ramen is the one that exempts you from the 4 and 5. It was it's not true. The Kibbutz Ramen makes that there was no Mechira Bechlal. There's no Mechira Bechlal, not Chaya. Never started. So the Gemara is searching for a different case. Elo Marapopi. You know what's the case? He tells them, throw what you stole to my courtyard. And my courtyard will acquire what you stole. So then, when he exchanged domains, he's holding the Gneva in public domain, says throw it to my private domain, and then I will buy it. So the moment they enter my domain, if we hold Kluta Kamishuncha, so then right away as it's sitting on my domain, at that same moment, you chayev misa because you did oitzoim from Rishus Hayochim. So then, right, it's the same moment. Right. Again, what's the difference? By Kiyam Kesef, the first case, what's it in this case and the first case? The first case, by Kiyam Kesef, I'm paying you through my figs. There's a middle stage of what? Chiyuv. And since the chiyuv is started, because the Kibbutz Rabbin is on the source of the chiyuv, you may lose no mechira bechlal. This case, it's meshicha akbor, it's achnos l'rshus. The mechira is in the same moment when it enters if kluta k'mishuncha. Keman kerabbi Akiva lo maklu mishuncha damya. Di kerabonon keman demata lechotzer lekono. Yan Shabbos v'chad demata le'ara. Okay. Unless according to Rabbonon, okay. So then it's the same time. But the mais Rabbi Akiva is very easy. You have a case where I have the chiyuv of the mechira, and the mechiyuv which is meshicha or kiran chotzer is the same moment of the isur of Shabbos of oitzor nachlos l'rshus. But if it's kesef, cannot be the same moment. Why? Because the payment, the mechira, the payment creates a chiyuv, and the chiyuv makes the mechira. So Kibbutz Rabbi Mina destroyed the chiyuv. Because the Yisur Chiyuv of Shabbos is on the payment, not afterwards. So the Mechir never started. So what do we see clearly from this Gemara Shimon Shkop proves? That there is a middle of stage by Kesef. So that's why Kesef and Chalipin are two different structures. This is a famous Raya of Rav Shimon Shkop. Let's see inside. I'm reading inside Rav Shimon Shkop. Reading the second paragraph, page Reish Chav Gimel, the second paragraph. If you take 5 lines down, or let's start from 4 lines down. V'zeu ikar din kesef. This is the main law of money. Masha kesef goyrim chiyuv. The money that the seller receives creates an obligation. Alidei kabbalah through his receiving. L'ischayev, to be obligated, betmuas hakesef, to be obligated as an exchange of the money, or the object, or to give back the money. Can we brought a raya migemore bobekame perekamurube daf ayin amud beis? We just read now. The Amrinon Shom we said there. The Kavan, and since the tova le bedina, since if the buyer calls to court the ganav, the seller, come on in front of us, loy mechayev. The money will not create a chiyuv. Mishum the Kibbutz Rabbin. So therefore, mechir namilav mechir, and the mechir never started. The av the ma the Kibbutz Rabbin eno megera b'schus hakesef. That's what he said. Even though Kibbutz Rabbin doesn't minimize or puts down, takes off with the rights of the money of the giver. Ubelo aknoas balateinim. without the owner of the figs giving over the figs as a payment, the robber will not be merit the figs of the buyer, of the chair, of the gzela. So he says, the gam begazel mamash, even a complete robber, aroitze ligzel wants to steal, maskirim obekame begmor sanedin afayim beis, the law amrinon bedomin kaninu. We don't say that a robber, when he wants to steal, and he deserves death in the time of the stealing, we don't say that with his life, his death, domim here means his blood, he didn't acquire the object. When the gzela is in reality, he didn't destroy it, he didn't make a shinui. We don't say the death acquires, since he's exempt to pay, because his blood is on the table, he deserves death. That acquires the object. We don't say that if the object is existing. When he doesn't have the intention to steal, so then he's not obligated with onsim on the object. The osgam lerav, even according to Rav, that doesn't apply here, that he would merit assets of others, that are deposited by him, that because some kind of a penalty of death, a sin of death, he will give the death penalty doesn't make the object to be acquired to me. That's not what it makes it. It's the will of the owner of the object, that one makes, of the figs, that one makes the figs to belong to me. Yes, right?
Why is that
because you're not zoiche, because some kind the sin doesn't make it the zechia. Even though there's no lack, any missing by giving him the money. However, even since again, there's no lack by giving of the money. Because why? The owner of the figs wants to give the figs. There's nothing wrong there. However, even since after acquiring the figs, cannot take an effect on the seller, any debt in exchange of the money. Why? Because the death penalty knocks out the chiyuv. So therefore, the kiyuna kesef doesn't help in such a way. But lefiza, according to this, ikar ayesoid. This is the chiluk. When the Gemara says that a woman is only nikna, a woman is only koine bekesef and not chalipin, because a chalipin is not kesef, it's kinyan acher. Which chalipin we talking about? Even chalipin shove b'shove, ala tmura, which means azor mechira. You moiche chevet shove b'shove, and she wants the chayfet. She's makbid on the chayfet. So lichor should be money. And the only reason why it's not money because she called it chalipin. Why the shame will not get for money? The answer is no. When I use a different name, a different shame, the internal mechanics change. If it's kesef, it creates a chiyuv. And the chiyuv makes the kinyan. And if it's chalipin, it's direct. So I'm using different mechanics. The mechanic, it's under the category of chalipin. The woman doesn't want it. Oh, let's see inside. Oh, you're Lefiza. I'm reading Lefiza. And Reish Chov Gimel on the left column, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 lines on the top. Reish Chov Gimel on the left column, 11 lines on the top. Velefiz, according to this, Ikar hayesoid, the main foundation, bekinyan kesef, an acquisition of money, who it is. Shalidei hakesef, through the money, ischayev hamoicher, the seller will be obligated. Avu zeh, for this. The money makes a chiyuv that. Lastly, mekhoy, there's an obligation to complete your selling. The days that through this, Mahani helps, Mashagomer Bedaito, what he concluded in his mind, La'aknus Adovo, to acquire the things that go in Batchilo. They made it agree in the beginning that I want to buy you, I want to buy the woman, I want to buy this sack of potatoes, I want to buy the woman. Okay, that's what the agreement. How do they do it? When I give the money create a chiyuv, or give me back the money, or give me what we obligated ourselves to transfer. So, but it's a middle stage of a choiv. V'zehu ayil mashakoydim kabbalas hakesef. That's why you need first to give the money. Why by kesef you must give the money first? No tiki, no washi, no money, nothing to talk about. Money is the thing. The leikadin chiyuv, the obligation of chiyuv doesn't start loy mehani, doesn't help. The akno also doesn't help is my acquiring the object. There's no chiyuv before. The ara kabbalah, only after I receive the money, dikadin chiyuv, that I create a chiyuv mehani, then it helps to sell you the object. Oyo mokom lo imar. According to Toises Rabbeinu Tamik is mokom to say the Chalipin ain't tzorich inyan zeh. Chalipin internally is different. Doesn't need this middle stage. And so she's chayav avu, that we obligated for the sake of sudo shemekabel, for the sake of the sudo that I receive that I want. There's a chiyuv. Ela begufu umakne, rather, when I get this object, right away, when I pull this object, that meshich of this object obligates me to other object. Ainu, which means sheba'avur hachefetz, for the sake of the object, shekibel, that he received, umakni, acquires. It's not because when I receive an object, I'm obligated as a debt, or to give back the object, or to make the kinyan. No, directly when I receive the object, it's coined the other object. Therefore, that's how it works. Even a vessel is also beputo. However, if you look at Toises in Masechet Bobekame, Muchar is proven the Gabe Chalipin loy me'ani. Also, the Chalipin doesn't help. There's no middle stage. He found the Toises Merube and Daf Ein Toises Shanu Matchil Boimer lo yakoitz. The Bemevu Oshom, the Madam Aperes of the Chalipin, one who holds fruits can create Chalipin. So now the te'ena, the fruit, the te'ena is a fruit. It makes the Chalipin. Or your misparesh eight, even not only as kesef like Rashi, you can say the te'ena is not a kesef, of shvei kesef, rather it's peros, it's Chalipin. So we see from Toises there that also Chalipin is the middle stage of a choy. Velanius daiti deres yeshlem and Chalipin sheich lo du din chiyuv. He wants to say that maybe also by Chalipin you can say chiyuv. The after man being shom pruto, in him milvad the yeshlem and apol shom pruto ikes chushiabut. Okay, he starts going on. And let's jump to the next paragraph. Belefize. I'm jumping to the next paragraph. Belefize noima. The zewa evdel bekidush isha ben kesef and Chalipin. The betoyes Chalipin. That's the difference between Chalipin and money by Kiddush. I'm reading page Reish Chof Dalet, the second paragraph on the right side. Belefize, according to this. Noima, the zewa evdel. This will say this is the difference. Bekidush isha. Ben kesef and Chalipin. When Toyes says there's a difference between kesef and Chalipin, what's the difference? The betoyes Chalipin kavanosom. When I say the word Chalipin, even I want the object, she wants the object, the Chalipin. Her intention is that she'll be engaged for the sake of the Sudar itself. What she merit, the body of the thing. And what she's obligated to give back, shel guf adovo. So he wants to say really Kesef and Chalipin both create a chiyuv. But the chiyuv of kesef is different than chiyuv of money. Chiyuv of chalipin is the object, because I want the object itself, so or I give back the object, or I give the other object against. But by kesef, kavanosom, al yedei ze shenisrabet, so since she now is worth more, she has no value. Kesef is not the goof. Nobody wants the goof of the kesef itself. People want the value of the kesef. So now this rabet, now I have ribu of domim, ribu of more value by me. Umashi mischayev so as domim becomes the kesef. Now what she's obligated as a chiyuv to give back what? The object, the coin, or the value when she received the kesef. That's where split the kinyan of Chalipin and kesef. Before we wanted to say kesef creates a middle stage, Chalipin no middle stage. He says no. We saw Toysas Mekame, the Chalipin also has middle stage. If pears have the Chalipin, if the figs can create Chalipin. So both is a middle stage. But the difference is that by kesef, what makes the kinyan is not the coin, not the goof of the dober of the coin. It's the ribui domim, is the value, more value I got. So then it makes me feel to give more value or to make the kinyan. And by chalipin, the chiyuv is to give back the object or to make the kinyan. That's the chiyuv. Mishumochi, so that's what he says. Mishumochi, afim aisha makpedes aletzem adober, even if the woman wants she's makpid on the chalipin itself, on the kli itself, they doesn't want any other money. Gam can teres kesef, there's also kesef because it creates a chiyuv. If he didn't say it's chalipin, it will create a chiyuv of, even if she wants the object itself, create a chiyuv of kesef. The kavanosorak, her intention is only she makpedes lekabel mekadesh, she's makpid to get from her husband. Davka chayfetz kesef, specifically this object. But how do they want to be married, engaged? When he gives her the money or the object, even the chalipin, and she wants the chalipin, and and the person didn't specify the word chalipin, I transfer the case of that what? That this sudo, which she wants specifically silk sudo, this specific sudo, will create a chiyuv domim through this object that she wants in its value. The kpeidasan also, the one she's careful on the pleasure from this handkerchief, v'achiu shebo, and the obligation that comes from this pleasure, and in yonim ifrodim is two different subjects. V'aevdel shebo mischalekin and chalipin in kesef, the difference where chalipin is different than kesef. Eino b'kpeidas hakabol v'ano, is not in her careful what she wanted to receive. Elarak, and the result, the din chiyuv, what she receives, what it creates. It comes from the sake of receiving and the pleasure. That if it's kesef, so the chiyuv is value. If it's chalipin, is the chiyuv the object or to make the kinyan. By chalipin, she's makpin on the sheve. Gam kilomanishes a thesis. It doesn't help according to the word chalipin. This Shana Toys. She wants to say the chiluk between chalipin and kesef is not the middle stage. Both the middle stage, but kesef, the middle stage creates, even though she wants the object, if you don't say the word chalipin, I'll transfer that the chiyuv will be on the value. More domim, so give back more value or make the kinyan. But by chalipin, who creates a chiyuv or give back the object, the etzem of the object, or make the kinyan. Even though it doesn't matter when she wants to receive, she wants this specific object. If it's kesef, it will be domim. But if it's chalipin, it will be the same object. And that's when we say that chalipin is a kinyan acher. When you say the word chalipin, out. It means it works in that type of machinery. That's all out. Doesn't matter even if it's value or not. It's not shame alone. It's a different machinery, and that's why it's out. Please learn it inside. See the rayas, and Bezrat Hashem will continue to have the Miluim and the Chazonish, and then Bezrat Hashem will have the merit. The time we'll see the Reb Chaim, the Birkas Shmuel. Bezrat Hashem.
But the says a function here.
No, that's the stop. That's the Ikea. He's the Ikea. Then he goes on, but it's not the Ikea. This is the answer for the Teresus. This is the answer to Teresus. That's all. Then he's Mayashiv, that's something else. It's Mayashiv, other opinion. But that's the answer to Teresus. When we said that Chalipin is a different kinyan, so we have to forget about different kinyan, but Lamaisi have kesef in it. Let it work with kesef like this and reach kasha. That doesn't help because Chalipin and kesef works different machinery. Not that Chalipin kesef has a chiyuv and Chalipin is direct. No, both creates a chiyuv, like it tells in Babakama. Just the difference is that by chiyuv of kesef is or give back more value or make the kinyan, and by Chalipin is or give back the object itself or make the kinyan. That's all. That's all. That's the difference. Or make the kinyan. Yes. He made two options, so you can choose. He says, "I want Chalipin to work," and it won't work. He says, "I want Kesef."
And if he gives he gives her a Sudan and Stama.
Says this.
But nobody.
But when he said the word Chalipin is out.
Yeah, but nobody married the woman with the Sudan usually.
Right.
Money. So
but we say it means Kesef.
Maybe
because she's asking, show me. She says, "I want to see the Suda, how much is worth." Makbid, she makbid on Suda's Kesef. Rabbi Hanania ben Akasho in the Rotzah Bokh Zakis for the Fikar. Here went to Shneimah, Rabbi Tzama, Tzidkos, the Rovi, Hadis, Kadei, Kadei, Shmei Rabo. Nobody wants to say, "Hi, Chol, 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 Chol,